Yeah, what's up, Matt? What you up to, buddy?
Hello. How are you?
I'm
Happy
doing.
Friday.
Yo, same to you, bro. Same to you. How's everything going?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Been quite an eventful week. I actually it's an hour early here than what it normally is, so it's just gone 11 o'clock over here. Whereas I
go.
normally speak to you about midnight because our clocks have gone back so for an hour. So I think we have this for like a couple of weeks, don't we? And then they kind of realign with yours.
No, I think it's this Sunday.
Oh, is it this Sunday? Okay. Okay, yeah, so just a week then. Oh, that's good. So, and I actually do feel like I've got like an hour's worth of extra energy tonight as well. So it works quite well. It's good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yo, Zach, what's up, dude? Happy early birthday,
Hi,
bro.
Zach.
Happy early birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
What is happening?
So how's your week been?
It's been going good, man. It's been going good.
Yeah.
Had a little meeting with some TikTok stuff earlier.
Okay. Is that Mr. and Mrs. TikTok that you spoke to? Or?
Yep, rolling in the right direction, getting everything rocking and rolling.
That's good.
Love it.
No, it seems to be going well for you on there.
So. Yes, sir. It's doing all right. That's for sure.
No, I'm glad they're looking after you.
Yep. So I guess tonight, right? Tonight we're gonna be talking about cleanliness, right? And how that kind of associates with mental health. And you got any kind of like intro to that, Matt? That you were kind of thinking?
Yeah, it's kind of a mixture of things, really. So I know we've had discussions in the past about, it covers so many areas. So self-care, really. We've spoken before about, when we're kind of suffering from low mood, depression, anxiety, loss of sleep, all those sort of things. It can be very hard to kind of get up in the morning and kind of get yourself going. And we kind of forget our self-care quite a lot, which is quite important. But it goes into other areas as well. So it's not just kind of self-cleanliness and things. It can kind of then go into like housekeeping, how we keep our houses with, decluttering, those sort of things. It can be around relationships, kind of moving away from relationships that are kind of unhealthy for us, jobs, different situations. I don't know, for myself as well, like my car used to be a problem. I used to get into my car years ago and get quite down about it because I'd just kind of keep all sorts in it. I'd have like CDs in it, paperwork, pens, stuff I'd drunk, stuff I'd eaten, all sorts of stuff. So, even that really, having kind of those areas of where you kind of sit in and, it all kind of does affect our mental health and can do. So it kind of covers all different situations. And one of the things I had in mind as well is about hoarding, really, and why we might hold on to kind of items that are pretty much no use to us anymore, but we just don't want to let go, and the difficulty that we can have of that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I've never really, so I guess we'll kind of start this off too with chat. So listen, chat, have you guys ever struggled with any kind of like hoarding or holding on to things that are unnecessary and how it's hindered you in any kind of way whatsoever? Yo, Oil Man, what's up, dude? I see you up over there, man. Yo, Dolphin Waddle with that hashtag America. Oil Man with that 9 motivated months of resubbing, man. I appreciate you, bro. Much love, dude. Austin, he said, hey, what's up, Chris? Sorry I haven't been on as much. Hey, listen, Austin, we're grateful for any time that you're
here. Yeah, it's good to see you,
Austin. I hope all is well, man. Hope all is well. So I personally have never really struggled with holding on to things, right? Even I'm not quite sure why, as a matter of fact, in this move that I did this year, right, like I left a lot of stuff that I could have probably been somewhat sentimental, I guess you could say. I was just ready to roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah no, I think that's a good way to be as well, because there's certain things with myself I kind of have to check in, because I had my old police belt up until fairly recently that I couldn't use it. It kind of snapped in half, but I kept hold of it because it was the belt that I used or wore from day one of when I started kind of my service, as it were, right through to the end. So I kind of saw it really as a thing that had always been there. All the times and experiences that I'd had through the police, it kind of represented that to sort of me. And then I did as another way I kind of check in with myself. So it got to a point where I was moving stuff around in the house, come across this belt and thought, really, why have I got this? It's not that I can wear it. Someone's going to look into a box one day and think, what is this old belt kind of doing in here? It's broken leather belt. So I did. I kind of, just kind of decided that day it was pointless hanging on to it and decided to throw it away. But this week, for instance, as well, I've actually changed my car this week, and there was those sentimental thoughts of like, this car's had my son in it when he was first born. We've kind of been to all these places in it. I'm never really kind of call those sort of items like by names, which a lot of people kind of can do and do sometimes, but it still had some sentimental kind of value to me. But again, I kind of know that it's going to be in my way. I can't keep it. It's got to go. So, kind of then have to change that mindset as in, right, realistically, there's no use to it. It's got to go. But it is funny how we can kind of look at items as having that sentimental value or just not being able to let go of them. And, it can, in some extremes, get really bad where people have obviously houses full of boxes of stuff. And there's been some stories as well, isn't there, of people being actually crushed by stuff that they've hoarded and kept in their households. So it can get quite serious.
Absolutely. Yo, Gunner, what's up, dude? What's up, Gunner? How you doing? It's good to see you, man. Yo, hey, Mel, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming up over from TikTok, bro. Much love, dude. Much love, man. Yo, it's good to see you here. It's always humbling, man, to have y'all roll over from TikTok up over here, man. It means a lot. Thank you, bro. So Oilman says I still have some my ex's things to hold on to memories, which I know is very unhealthy. I mean, so what are your thoughts on that, Matt? Right? I guess it kind of depends on what stuff and how much of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Before you really determine it's unhealthy. I don't think there's anything wrong with holding on to like pictures and things like that. Now I do have pictures from past like my marriage and things like that, and Casey when she was a baby, like, but I don't really know if I would consider that unhealthy per se. I guess it kind of Oilman, I don't know if you care if you're interested in going into further detail on that, but I think there would probably have to be a little more context to it. Like, are the memories that you're holding on to, are they safe? Are they logical? Are they reasonable? Or do you feel like they're being used in an unhealthy way? I'm kind of assuming that you may feel that way just because that's what you said. But I would like to get more clarification. You know what I'm saying? Yo, It's Jeremy from Facebook. Yo, what's up, dude? Long time no see, bro. Long time no see. Yo, speaking of Facebook, I just got an email saying, finally, after all this time, like, hey, just so you know, we have seen that you are failing to fulfill the obligations from your unpaid partnerships, so we're going to remove you from the program. I'm like, I mean, I told you guys back in a while back.
I like it how they put it on you, really, don't they?
Yeah. I almost want to reply with, that's just because I wasn't getting paid.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and yeah.
But I've seen another couple of people actually posting that they're kind of more or less begging or demanding that they get taken off the partnerships and facing the same problems. So it feels like there's a lot of people in that situation at the moment, unfortunately.
Well, I'm humbled though. That's where it all started, right? I'll always appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely. Going back to kind of, keeping those items really. I think you said it, exactly right there, Chris, really is if it's kind of a healthy connection, if it's affecting us and in any other way that kind of causes us any upset, disturbance, or if you find that you're kind of getting those items out every day, sitting in the house, not getting the other things done that you should be getting, then that's obviously an unhealthy kind of relationship with those sort of items, where perhaps that then needs to be thought about. But I know you mentioned pictures there, which kind of in the old days, people used to have boxes and boxes of photographs and pictures, don't you? Which I think, a lot of people would be able to understand those because they capture an important moment to us with important people. So again, if I'd step away, there's a lot of things that people would kind of accept and sort of feel were understandable and normal, if you want to kind of use the brackets and things. And it is really about whether you've got that unhealthy kind of relationship or connection with anything that you're kind of hoarding. People kind of collect a lot of things as well, like papers, magazines, and stuff like that. That they've got kind of no use for. They don't look at again, but they just can't let them go for some reason that they quite often can't understand themselves, really, because they don't realise kind of why that behaviour is there in the first place. Which I think the article that we've got might go into that a little bit more as well. So.
Right. So we got baby mom in the house, Miss Robin. What's up? How are ya? Right, Dolphin. What's up, Dolphin? Typically, we just do it mostly on YouTube. Dolphin. This is kind of like one of the first weeks I bought it back to both, so we're on both right now. But yes, we do this every Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, and I think it's probably one of the most important things that we do here.
Yeah.
Oilman said, I still have pictures. Then I have a knife and a shirt I got from Oregon. I also have the first car I got her. It's broke down, but there's a lot of memories and dirt roading and singing to the radio.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I also still carry a picture of her wallet in her wallet. And it really all just kind of boils down to, I think, like what we were saying, man, like, is this healthy for you? Right. If it's healthy for you and you're just appreciating the memories, like that's great. But at what point, do you start to consider it to be an unhealthy thing? And that's kind of like a moving line, I guess you could say, like it varies from person to person. You know what I mean? Why does my camera keep focus?
I thought it was your face that kept going out of focus. I thought
I can turn blurry. It's like a
shape shifting or something like that.
Power. Yeah. I'm a shapeshifter.
Yeah, no, very much so. I kind of agree with that. And I've got kind of ornaments not too far away from me here at the moment, which kind of come from my grandmother's house and things like that. But they're kind of nice to hold on to and to have, but it's not in an unhealthy way of where it kind of causes me distress or it stops me. Having them doesn't stop me from doing other things that I need to do. I quite kind of happily kind of just walk past them, constantly most days of the week and things without kind of even thinking about them. But they're just kind of nice things to have when you choose to have those sort of moments or, to be reminded really of kind of her and her house and things like that. So, but I think it's kind of knowing where that healthy kind of barrier is really, isn't it? Or those areas.
Right. And so if you guys are just showing up, kind of what the topic is tonight is about cleanliness, and we're just kind of asking folks what their opinions are and what they've had experience with. Like if anybody here's that experience with kind of hoarding tendencies or unhealthy behaviors that involve cleanliness, you know what I'm saying? Right. If you've had any struggles with it, or if you found that it works for you, if it really helps keep you in the right frame of mind, that's kind of the question.
Yeah.
Gunnar said memories are great unless they prevent you from moving forward or for your health or a new relationship. And I agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Bowman says the unhealthy part is when the picture falls out, I get real depressed because memories flood back, but it's something I just can't get rid of yet.
I think I think that's an important part as well, because I'm very much of a person who we tend to kind of know when it's the right time to perhaps if it hasn't gone to kind of extremes of where you've got a whole house full of like property and items and stuff like that kind of is there and it's affecting your day-to-day life. I think we kind of normally otherwise sort of know whether we need to kind of let go of something, whether it's the right time to kind of let go of something, and we just know ourselves really. I've had items sort of from my past where I've like that police belt. In a way, it kind of makes sense that I could hang on to it because there's it was part of my years in the police, and it was it was with me all the time through all the ups and downs of that work. So in many ways, I'm sure a lot of people would understand me holding on to that, because they'd kind of go, well, yeah, that was part of your uniform and part of that time. But kind of I knew that it was the right time to kind of let that go. It doesn't do anything for me. It meant kind of very little really to me, and although I'd kept it all that time. And my thinking was as well, really, I've got a 5-year-old son. If I get to if he gets to 30, 40, whatever, am I really going to hand him a broken belt and say, look, this was from my time in the police? It was, you know, what's he really going to kind of gain from that, really? So,
like, gee, thanks, Dad.
Yeah,
You
I'd
know?
rather give him something else, really.
Right.
It's even those memories, isn't it? I've got time, hopefully, to kind of sit down with him and say, look, you know, this is what I've done in the police, and talk about the memories and the times. He's not going to get that from a belt, especially a broken one. So,
especially a broken belt. He'd be like, what, you trying to give me a whooping, bro?
yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm looking for something right quick. Damn, I still got this, Matt.
What have you got?
Check this out. Look, I got the Marine Corps one.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
And then there's the city of Albany one.
I like it. And they weren't too far from you either. So
do what?
They weren't too far from you either. You kind of
I got them in this desk.
Quick, so,
I put them in here a while back because Casey was looking at them last time she was here.
Yeah,
but I will let her hold on to those for sure. Right.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? Because you've got those. You know, I had that belt. I say it's not as though I've got rid of that and then haven't got other things connected to my time, sort of, you know, serving. So I've got a framed kind of long service and good conduct medal that's there. So, you know, that's far more important. You know, I'll hand that to kind of, you know, my children and things, because obviously, you know, there's something more there to kind of look at rather than, you know, a belt and an old buckle. So it's but so we do pick and choose, don't we? It's when that becomes unhealthy and you know, kind of our lives get a bit more cluttered, really, and things.
All right. Chelsea said, I don't think I have an issue with that. Things that are unhealthy for me, I tend to kind of block that out of my mind, honestly. And with things, I throw them away. And I think if we're speaking on what Oil Man was talking about, right, on the relationship side, I pretty much, like, when I part ways, you know, it's pretty much done. Now there are, like I said, there are a few exceptions, right? There are certain things, you know, that are still sentimental, like when Casey was born and, you know, things like that, right? But I don't know. I don't really hold on to that stuff that long, usually because, you know, relationships tend to end, you know, most of the time, right? At least in my experience, right? Most of the time my relationships have ended and it was a mutual want of it being done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's one thing you've reminded me of, Chris. How do you handle children's pictures? You know, when they come home from school with another hand-painted picture that they've been given. Have you kind of had that experience?
Oh, like over the years?
Yeah. You know,
do.
the ones that you stick to the front of your fridge. Do you?
Yeah, I have a box of those. Right.
Yeah.
I definitely kept all that. Right.
Yeah.
I always hold on to that. Ain't nobody gonna take this to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are those little things, and especially with Casey. I mean, because it's our children. You know what I mean? And those are very, very important items. You know what I'm saying?
No,
right?
Definitely. And that is something as well, isn't it? When they are older, you kind of get them boxes out and you kind of go, look, this is what you was drawing and painting when you was 2 and 3 and things. So no, they are important. That was Chelsea's actually reminded me as well, is a lot of people kind of like to do that as a therapy or as a kind of a cleansing sort of way, is you know, if you have got kind of bad memories attached to something, you know, that kind of burning of items or that kind of throwing them away, it really can kind of be, you know, kind of a cleansing kind of moment that people feel that they gain a lot of freedom sort of from, and it's, you know, a sign of new beginnings and kind of really drawing an end to past situations and things like that. So that can really help a lot of people out, is kind of throwing those items away, or even kind of the burning or destruction of them, really.
I wish I had more advice for you on that, Oil Man. I just don't have much experience with it, you know, like when I parted ways and it wasn't happy or anything like that, I distanced myself from it. You know what I'm saying? But that's that was my tool. You know what I mean? But Oil Man, listen, I really hope that it is in a healthy manner and you are just going through the grieving process, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that it's normal. We all cope with things and we all grieve differently. And I suggest, as long as you are in a safe spot, right? Like, as long as it's not in a completely unhealthy way and stuff like that, like, I just take your time, you know?
No, that's the important side, is the time there, because you know, if we have lost something, no matter what it is, And, there's different ways of losing things as well. So it might just be the end of a relationship, or someone, it might be a death and things like that. So, time is important. And like we were saying earlier, really, especially this conversation, I was going to say it's not about kind of pulling people out saying, well, why have you still got hold of that and things. It's just really kind of a discussion to kind of go over some sort of views and feelings and thoughts about it. And that may help people where they kind of go, do you know what, actually that's kind of helped me to have a little bit of a clear out of these things that aren't helpful to me. Or it might kind of confirm really that I'm kind of holding on to these things because they mean a lot to me and I'm not ready to give them up yet. And, there's no need for me to give up. That's absolutely fine as well. We do. And I am a real strong believer of that, of we kind of have that instinct of when it's the right time, mostly to kind of, keep something or to kind of move on, away from it. And I think that article does kind of cover that a little bit as well, which we'll move on to in a bit as well.
All right. Yo, Alex, what's up, buddy? How you doing, bro? Gunnar said he has everything from his daughter's stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You got to, man. Hey, listen. There's a special kind of love between a daddy and a daughter, man. 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo, Mel, I appreciate that, buddy. Much love, dude. Much love.
Thanks, Mel.
So Matt, do you want to have a little look-see at this?
Yeah.
All right. The powerful psychology behind cleanliness. There's a recent trend, allegedly, sweeping, pun intended, the internet. Organization porn, like food porn, has nothing to do with pornography and everything to do with appealing, well curated photographs of everyday items. Whereas food porn might involve a picture of, say, a salted caramel cupcake with a perfectly swirled dollop or of chocolate frosting on the top. Organization porn might involve a picture of pins arranged by color, size, or a gorgeously minimalistic living room. Blogs and websites that focus on organization porn are numerous. For instance, the organization Neatly, Apartment Therapy, and Unclutter, to name a few examples. Pinterest also contains countless organization pictures, and BuzzFeed regularly runs articles designed to appeal to your inner neat freak. What is it about a well-organized table that makes people so satisfied? Why do some people spend their free time scrolling through blogs to teach them how to rearrange their closets or the best way to color code their filing cabinets? The positive psychology behind organization. Matt, so on a more practical scale, I guess you could say, like everyday people, what do you think? How do you envision just everyday cleanliness affecting a person's mental health?
There is lots of different ways, really. Kind of, again, really, if we're not looking after ourselves properly, we kind of look in, if we're low mood anyway, and we look into that mirror and we see, kind of unshaven, unwashed, and unkempt sort of look, we kind of perhaps look how we feel, but that doesn't do anything to kind of help us out of that and to lift our kind of mood and our spirit. I know myself, there's been those days where I haven't been feeling well, especially recently with COVID and things like that again, where I call it my sick beard. I've kind of literally kind of not shaved for like 4 or 5 days or whatever. You start sort of seeing that stubble come through, and you kind of look as well as how you feel. But then the feeling that you get from kind of having a wash, keeping yourself tidy, even if you're not feeling that great inside, it really does give you kind of a boost and that, that motivation and a bit of a kickstart to kind of looking at things a little bit differently. So there's that kind of side to it of kind of personal cleanliness and keeping ourselves tidy. But as well, if you kind of, there's lots of sayings. There's the one of like, tidy home, tidy mind. Whereas, if you kind of not going to excess either, but if you have got a tidy house, you haven't got boxes laying around of newspapers everywhere, and you're not hunting around to kind of find everyday items because you've got other stuff piled around. It just helps with your mood, helps to prevent you getting frustrated with situations, kind of which can lead into anger. Having kind of clutter around can really kind of feed that feeling of anxiety and panic. And obviously there is a health risk as well, because if you were to have a kind of a fire or an accident or anything like that in a house, it can actually cause lots of accidents or fires, because like trip hazards and things like that. But having clutter around might kind of stop you or others exiting buildings if you needed to. But it generally kind of is if things are tidy, if things are kind of in a place, organized, it really does help our kind of mindset and our mind of where things are easier to find. It's less frustrating. We're less likely to kind of feel anxious and panicky. We don't get kind of angry because we get. How stressful is it to kind of find your car keys amongst loads of other items, or
Right.
when you're hunting around the house for a pen, we get stressed, we get kind of upset, we get angry, we get annoyed, we kind of shout and have a go at others of like, what have you done with my bag and things like that, and they're stood there thinking, well, I've never seen your bag, haven't touched it. And it's very easy to kind of blame other people for things that we can't find. So there's so many areas that being organized and being tidier and looking after that cleanliness sort of help with. So it is really kind of important. I'm not perfect at it. I'm far from it. I'm sat at a desk at the minute. I wish I could move me camera around. I've got leaflets over here. I've got envelopes here. I've got books. I've got a pair of pliers that I was fiddling around with something earlier with. So desk isn't great at the minute. It's not a great example, and I'm sat here and it is I don't feel calm, because I'd like everything out the way, because you're worried about things making a noise or fiddling with stuff or whatever. So it's going to take a bit of my own medicine tomorrow and have a bit of a tidy up. But
right.
But yeah, we've had a lot going on. We've had some builders in today, and if anyone knows what it's like to have a house full of builders with their equipment around and things like that, that feels stressful. That feels panicky. That can frustrate us because tools are in the way, or the kitchen's untidy, or the living rooms can't be used because there's people decorating in it or whatever. So that's a good example, really, of how that untidiness and clutter can kind of make us feel.
I agree, man. And like you were saying too, like with those extreme cases, man, like Chad, if you guys ever are sitting around, right? If you guys are ever sitting around and you really don't have anything going on, if you go to YouTube and then like search like hoarding videos and stuff like that, like it can develop into a serious problem, right?
Yeah.
Like there are serious problems and health issues and fire hazards and all that stuff like you're talking about that are actually common, when it comes to hoarding, like how out of control it gets, right?
Yeah, I think like these discussions like normal, really. It hopefully helps people at different levels. They're if it's just a case of myself reminding myself to clear my desk, and I think kind of make your bed, as Chelsea's kind of mentioned, it all goes back to exactly the same sort of things. Is how can you operate properly if you can't physically sort of move around easy? Or how can you have good communication and good relationships with people if you don't take care of yourself and wash and shave and things like that? That's not being judgmental about other people, but we all kind of know that if you kind of walk into a shop and you're looking untidy and you're acting certain ways, you're more likely to be kind of approached and treated in a certain way. And if you're feeling low and down and you're looking low and down and people are talking to you as though you're low and down, then it's much harder to kind of get you out of that as well. So again, those little steps, like making your bed, like looking after yourself, like tidying up a little bit. I know you've mentioned it in the past, haven't you, Chris, how you had that time of where you did kind of go through that, I need to get organized. I need to, kind of have a big clear out of the house and stuff like that in the past. You've mentioned that a few times and how you felt afterwards.
All right. And maybe that might tie into Copit here, right? His first time chat, man. I appreciate you being here. He said, first one of these I've been able to catch. I've been struggling lately.
Oh.
And it gets a little overwhelming, man. But I will say this, just like Matt's saying down there, bro. A lot, I found, at least for myself, there's a lot of little things that go on throughout my day, right? And probably one of the biggest things is maintaining a good, clean house, right? Getting up, making your bed, starting your day off with that task completed, you know, and it really has increased the quality of my life, and I feel like I've become a lot stronger in a lot of other aspects in life by just practicing some of those things, you know, right?
I think it does kind of represent, you know, if you're able to kind of declutter around you, then it really does make it easier to kind of declutter your thoughts and your mind as well, really. And it, you know, when we're kind of not perhaps at our best, things around us get a little bit more untidier. And it's, I think we've kind of said that a little bit as a bit of an example. It's like kind of looking after a garden. The first time you do it, you've got a big job on your hands where, you know, you kind of got to mow the grass, you've got to pull out the weeds, you know, got to look after the flowers and things that are there. But the more that you do that, the easier that it gets and the less weeds that you've got to pull out. And the same with our thoughts, really. If you've got lots of negative thoughts that are kind of exaggerated or helped to be there by clutter around you physically on the outside, you know, it kind of makes it harder to kind of clear those and make room for those positive ones. So, you know, and like our minds and our thinking, you know, if we can kind of declutter our sort of minds and sort out and pull out those negative thoughts, it leaves far more room for those positive ones.
I agree. So Killer Clown, my boy Striker says, I deal with severe anxiety and depression on top of PTSD, and it kind of hit me at moments, and I just want to sleep the day away because it makes my body feel tired. So, Striker, what Matt was talking about when he got me to mention the whole getting up and make your bed and start your tasks, and what he was referring to is that I have times that show up, right, where like being down, right, gets the best of me. And the way that I've learned to be able to avoid that, man, is to start off by doing something. You know what I mean? I modeled that from a video that I saw on YouTube. It's by a Navy Admiral who talks about changing the world, right? The change of the world speech. I suggest going and checking it out and watching it. And I took it in a literal sense because he's like, you know, he talks about starting off your day by waking up and making your bed, you know, getting that task completed, getting the ball rolling in the right direction. And it tends to really help my day, bro. It really does. I really feel like I feel like it eases up on some of the stresses. Or if I'm in a slump, if I force myself to get up and go do something, bro, like it immediately now at this stage immediately rolls into I need to do more. I need to do more. And I start getting moving around, and I start like, okay, all right, here we go. We're back. You know what I'm saying? So there's some good tactics, you know, and you can kind of edit those to where it will really fit your circumstance or the position that you're in or the location that you're in. I know at work, sometimes that can be a little frustrating because you don't necessarily have your private space to do that. But I would suggest trying some of those things too, maybe before you go to work, you know, try designating a task that you know that you need to complete every day and accomplish that before work and then get in that mindset or when you wake up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it really does help as well. So I'm a great believer of, a lot of people will say, you know, if you're spending all day in bed, that's unhealthy, and you know you need to do something about that. Whereas I see it a little bit differently. Really, there's quite often reasons why we do that, and feel more comfortable, kind of staying in bed longer and you know, sleeping. But you know, kind of for people that kind of do want to kind of change that, is like we talk about a lot in here, is having those little steps, those small steps, just to kind of change that cycle, if you like, because it will be a cycle. If it's seen by someone as a, you know, slightly unhealthy cycle or a very unhealthy cycle, a good way of changing that is just to kind of change one small element, and that's what we talk about here on a lot, really, because that can kind of really get the ball rolling. You know, and we've spoken a lot. I think Chris has used that in the past himself. I certainly have, of just, you know, especially when things become or seem overwhelming as well. It's about taking things back to basics, and looking for a small step that, you know, I can do differently that just changes that day and changes that cycle or breaks that cycle, if you like.
Right. And then so baby mama says, right, sometimes I just want to lay in bed and be lazy, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No,
Just to be clear, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think that's a little bit different than what we're referring to.
yeah,
So what I was kind of referring to is when you're having those down days. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Now, sometimes a good healing to that could be right. Could very well be relaxing, right? And if it works for you, I highly recommend it. You know what I'm saying? There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with being lazy every once in a while and just chilling. You know. Hey
I
Tyler,
think,
what's up, dude? It's good to see you, bro. And Oilman said, I mean, it's been 3 years and I haven't even really started looking for another relationship. Half is I still love my ex. The other part is I'm scared to get hurt again.
yeah, no, I understand that, and I think as well, if that is probably if you don't mind, Oil Man, as well, there's our email there as well. That if we can, I'd certainly would. I'd kind of could look into that a little bit further for you and speak to you a little bit more about that as well, if you'd like to. We've got our email address there that just me and Chris have got access to. That we could kind of look into that a little bit further, because you've kind of made some really good points there, and some of that's about kind of moving on and how you feel about that, but there is that loss there as well. You have been grieving during that time, and that process is different for all of us. There's kind of 7 stages with some theories that we kind of go through and we can revisit time and time again. It's really good actually to kind of just Google the 7 stages of grieving, and for a lot of people that might not have seen that but have gone through the grieving process, it really does explain it really well. There's loads of kind of information on there about it, and it's helpful. I always say more knowledge is power. And if you kind of know what those 7 stages are, it really helps to kind of make sense of the situation that you're in. But I'd be more than happy to kind of have a chat as well via our email if you'd like to make use of that.
Yeah, and if you guys ever need anything too, like if you go to the Discord, right, we have a whole section on mental health stuff. All right.
Yeah. With regard to the sleeping as well, Chris, the way I always see that is that we quite often need a break, and I think it's healthy and it's good. If we kind of feel, well, I'm going to spend all day in bed because I'm feeling a little bit low today, and give myself some rest and a break. I don't see a problem with that. Some people would do. They kind of go, well, that's not healthy. You've wasted a day. Where it changes is if it's becomes the habit of spending day after day kind of in bed, not getting anything else done, not looking after children, which obviously, there's some safeguarding things there, not keeping employment if you're kind of working somewhere. And if it's hindering kind of your health, and it's coming up with some unhealthy kind of results, if it's causing a problem and become problematic, that's when it's perhaps a good idea to kind of look at that, see how you can kind of improve your situation, which usually starts with those small steps and those small changes.
So I agree 100%. Right. So real quick, let me get caught up here in chat. We got quite a few things going on here. We got Miss Chelsea Henry in the chat, right?
Royalty.
Hiding in her food pantry, and you could be like, but tonight I'm cleaning out my food closet, right? Right, you got that. Nico, what's up, buddy? It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you.
Hi, Nico.
Killer Con says, I know when I'm down, I have to listen to certain songs that help me smile and get through the day. But when April 27th comes, it hit me really hard due to me laying my grandfather to rest. Chris Armstrong says, the one I learned is you will always have feelings for your ex. When you truly love that person, they will always have a spot in your heart, especially if you had kids with them. And then Killer Clown, or my boy Striker, also says he was my mentor and someone I looked up to and helped me through a lot because I was pushed out of my family and they took me in and raised me. And much respect, right? Much respect to your grandfather over that stuff, man. Right. And one thing that I do, Striker, and this may or may not help, is I strive, especially with my grandmother. All right. So my grandmother and grandfather were very special to me as well. Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away when I was like 12. I didn't get a lot of time with him. I do often think of would I make decisions in my life still to this day under the curiosity of would this make him proud? You know what I'm saying? And but my grandmother passed away like 3 years ago, I think, and 2 or 3 years ago. But I always try and center that focus when I start to feel a little disappointed and sad. I always try and center my focus on making sure that I'm taking the right steps and having the right drive in my life, right, to do right by the example that she set for me to follow and the example that my grandfather set for me to follow. And I strive more for that instead of focusing on the sadness of it. You know what I mean? So Striker, I don't know if you've ever been here when we've kind of talked about this before, but one thing that I commonly say is that if I were to die tomorrow in a car wreck or natural causes or whatever happened, I would not want that to be the downfall of Casey, right? My daughter. I would not want that to be the downfall of her. I would want her to take what I've been able to teach her and the tools I've prepared her with up to this point and excel them and grow them and use the loss of me as a tool for her to fight harder. You know what I'm saying? To overcome any kind of things. Now, on that same note, we do grieve, right? There's nothing wrong with grieving. There's nothing wrong with understanding the sadness of it, you know. But those are just some of the things that I personally utilize to help keep me focused in the right path and stay in the right direction. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense, right? Well, no kids, gang, lol, got you. Miss Chelsea said, "Here it comes. The wind is strong." Yo, just clean out the food pantry, bro. You got this, right?
Yeah.
Yo, Coley, what's up, dude? Breno, what's up, man? No worries. You're here now. That's what counts. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. We also got my boy, Weatherman. Weatherman, what's up, dude? What's up, man? I appreciate them kind words. And Dolphin with that agreed. I appreciate the love, man. Yo, I appreciate you guys. But I want y'all to know, man, that number one, a lot of things that happen in life, I want y'all to realize that here at this family of badasses, you'll never be alone. All right. If you guys ever need resources and stuff like that, in our Discord, we have a separate channel about mental health awareness and mental health stuff, right? And we got resources from all different countries. And then we also have our email, which is changetheworldhd@gmail.com, right? And both Matt and I have access to that email. And we'll try to help out the best that we can. You know what I'm saying? If not, me and Matt, this is one thing that I think that you and me have always done. We work so good together as a team. So when there's things that I am not capable of doing, you know, me and Matt communicate on that aspect and vice versa, right? If there's ever a situation that he finds himself in, that we don't really have that much experience in, we can bounce it off each other, or we know how to help research information, right? So like if we can't help you, we'll definitely do our best to try and help you find somebody that will be able to fill those needs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's see here. What are we talking about tonight? We're talking about mental health and cleanliness / hoarding and all the damages that can come from, or all the positive that can come from maintaining a clean lifestyle and cleanliness.
Yeah.
Right. If not, call Chris. Oh yeah. Where are we? Did I get everything? Yo, chat in my
No, there's loads of chat. It's really good. Yeah, no, it's really good to see so many people in tonight. So it's good.
We got Co-Pit. I might lose my girl soon because I always say I'll get to a chore or I'll do something, but then completely forget to do it unless I start the task immediately when I'm thinking about it. I'm starting to lose motivation because I keep screwing up every chance she's giving me and slipping back in old habits no matter how hard I've tried. You've been motivating me to at least keep trying and pushing no matter what life throws at me, and that's 100%. Yo, Tito, what's up, buddy? Yo, Tito, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? It's good to see you here. Co-Pit, I struggle a lot with being able to focus on things and stay focused. There's things that can happen, right? And I will just be like squirrel, and then that's it. Right? Like I will go 19 miles in the opposite direction of where I need to stay on, right? So I know it's a big battle, right? And one thing that I found that can be helpful and that I learned from Matt is to write things down. Also, if you get like one of those dry erase boards or like a calendar or something you can hang up on your wall, writing those notes down and putting it in a location where you have to constantly pass it and see it kind of helps redirect the attention back to it. And maybe that might be a good tool to use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was communication is really good and helpful as well. So don't be frightened to kind of tell people, you know, I know that I don't get it right all the time, but I'm trying. You know, I really don't mean to kind of let you down. Those kind of words mean so much to someone on the other end, rather than kind of just thinking, oh, perhaps I haven't noticed, you know, I won't talk about that, I won't notice it. And even in between, really, just saying to someone, look, you know, I kind of, you know, I want to do these things. When I tell you that I'm going to do these for us and, you know, together, you know, I kind of really mean and intend to do that. but kind of me being me, I just find it difficult to kind of stick to those things, and kind of use that communication. But as Chris said there as well, post-it notes are brilliant. Kind of write yourself a little post-it note, stick it somewhere where you're going to see it first thing in the morning, whether it's the bathroom mirror, whether it's the dashboard of the car, by the phone, wherever that is. Post-it notes are great. They're really good. It takes a little bit of practice to get into that habit, but they're really good. And the other thing is use technology. Set alarms on your phone, with a reminder on your calendar, just an alarm that you get a message flash up on your phone at a time saying, don't forget to phone so-and-so, don't forget that you was going to do this, or, make time for that. That's a really good way of reminding yourself as well. So technology can really be useful.
Yo, Chelsea, I just checked my weather app, right, for where you're at, right? And it says the wind is gusting at 16 miles an hour. You're talking about blown away. Yo, Chelsea, it says the wind gusts are 16 miles an hour, not 60, 16, and you're talking about flying away. Oh my god. Yo, Chelsea, I fucking love you guys, man. I love y'all so much. All right, let's see here. Hey Chris, can I drop a song in the mental health Discord? Absolutely. There's a general chat. There's a general chat in that mental health section as well, right? Absolutely. Feel free to, man. Any kind of help to help anything out or help anyone out is what it's always about. Not to change the subject or take away from the topic you guys talk. No, not at all, man. Hey, listen. So just to be clear, we pick topics, but that's only if you guys don't have anything to talk about, right? I will walk away from any topic that we have just to address issues that y'all want to discuss.
Yeah,
I'm sure Matt agrees with that too. Yeah.
Yep. No, so, they're just kind of fill-ins, really, aren't they? Really, for us, chat's far more important. People in chat, they lead, you lead. So it's all about it's all about doing what needs to be done for yourselves, really, and to talk about what you'd like to talk about. So not a problem at all.
Yo, Dirt Bike, what's up, dude? Copit said it kind of sucks though, because when I'm at work as a correction officer, I'm on top of everything. I remember every little detail, but it's like once I get home from work and my brain is mush, my memory's out the door. There's probably some good. Listen, Copit, we have that mental health email address too, which is change the world HD at gmail.com. Matt over there is really, really super efficient with those kind of things, because as a correction officer, as law enforcement, I've done both. As United States Marine, we're put in certain circumstances where we have to be hyper aware of our surroundings and what's going on around us, people's body language, people's movements, every little small detail we have to highly, highly hyper focus on. And that's for our own safety, right? So that could be something very involved. And Matt is also a police officer before, right? So he's very, very intelligent when it comes to ironing out those things. Yeah, don't lie. Don't shake your head. Right.
I'm not intelligent.
Where'd
you get that idea from?
I've learned so much from Matt, 100%. Right. Don't let him shake you. But we'll definitely help out the best that we can on those things too. Right. She's talking about
that completely makes sense as well. We're only human. So if you've been working in that environment during the day, as soon as you open that door, that little thing in the back of your head goes, I'm home, I can relax. Because that's your safe place to be. So that's completely natural and normal thing to kind of do. The way around that is to kind of set yourself those little markers of, post-it note on the other side of your door. So when you walk in and that voice goes, oh, you're home, you can relax, you see that post-it note, or you've got the alarm on your phone to kind of use. It's about kind of getting into those little habits of making little changes that just remind you of, well, before I sit down, I'll make this phone call, or before I sit down, I'll kind of just check to make sure I've done this. And changing that habit of when you open that door, when you're home, sort of thinking, okay, I can relax now. And that's where you kind of automatically switch off. You've just kind of explained, we're all human, we all do those things. Sometimes it just happens to be a little bit unhelpful, and it affects the relationships that really mean something to us. You've got an important job to do. You do that really well, I'm sure, at work, where you're concentrating on all that at the time. As soon as you see home, it's so I can relax now. It's my time. So it's absolutely normal. might not be helpful, you might not think it's helpful, but those little tips and tricks can really help in that situation, just to make sure that we kind of stay switched on for that little bit longer. But like I said, really as well, communication is really important. Don't be frightened to explain yourself to the people that mean so much to you. It's not a problem at all.
And there's also boundaries that you can set for yourself. You know what I'm saying? But like Matt's saying, if you express those, let me give you an example, bro. When I was a general manager at a high volume nightclub, right, making tons of money a night, the club would, not me. But it was just so crowded, man. And they would sell tables, right? They would sell tables with like packages, you know what I'm saying, like a bottle of this or whatever it may be. Some nights those poor waitresses, man, would be like understaffed or something because somebody would call in sick, and they would be so busy. But I'm gonna tell you the most efficient thing that, and I was so proud of them because they would always do this, right? They'd always go, listen, I this is not an excuse, but I want y'all to know that we are shorthanded tonight. I want to apologize in advance if it takes slightly longer than what it normally does for me. I promise you that you are important, you're of a priority, right? And I'm currently working the best I can to get around and help everybody out. And I want y'all to know I will be back with you to help you. Right. So some of the waitresses would greet them with that kind of greeting. And it set a tone and set a standard to where, bro, to be honest, it could take 30 minutes to get their shit. You know what I'm saying? When in other circumstances, it may take 10. But you know what they did? They tipped well and they bragged about them. Right. So I kind of feel like if you could implement that into a way of when you're talking to a girl, like, listen, hey, sweetie, when I get home, right, like I this is what I go through at work. I know that sometimes this can be misconstrued as an excuse, but if I could have this amount of wind down time, or if I could do this and then have this afterwards where I just have this little bit of catch my breath period, find some sort of solution. But number one, you have to communicate it, man. I mean, like I said, these people were spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this table, right? Like they shouldn't have to wait as long as they had, it's through nobody's fault. Like sometimes people just get sick. Bad things happen, right? But these waitresses, bro, were so efficient with that. And it really clicked for me when I was watching this, because they would stop me as the general manager and they'd be like, hey, Chris, I just want to let you know, man, this waitress, it's taken a long time, right? But we're just super happy with our service and we really, really love it here. You know what I'm saying? And it really clicked for me that, you know what? Not only is this a good GM tool, is this a good teaching tool to future employees, but this is also something that I can scale to a different level on my own personal life,
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, let's see here. I love all you guys. What else helped me get things done around the house after work is to not sit down. Damn, Matt, I was typing this as you were talking. Yeah. Let me make sure I ain't missing nothing. I'm 12 and I struggle with ADHD. My mom has really bad mental health and I break down because I'm scared she might do something stupid. If you ever at any point in time, chat, and this applies to everybody, all right, if you ever find yourself or a significant other at a point of danger to where there's any kind of self-harm, harm to any other people, any kind of physical harm, you need to stop what you're doing and dial 911 or 999 or whatever it is from wherever you're from and immediately report that, right? Don't ever let pride step in the way, right? Like at some point, especially if it's somebody that you care about and they're not in a good spot, there needs to be that urgent interjection of the situation, right? That person needs to be out of that situation as soon as possible. So I know sometimes people get mad, like if you're worried about their safety and you contact police or any kind of authority to help them out. But hey, listen, I'd rather be mad at me than the other option.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. I can see where she's coming from too. I know how frustrating it can be when it seems like I'm not listening. It's one of those where I also have a slight auditory processing disorder, so things don't always click right away. And that she takes all that into consideration, but I also know that it can be frustrating. Has the same job as I do, so she gets that too. And I'm sure, right? Like I'm sure, but there are tools out there that are available, right? Just like we were talking about, a dry erase board, any kind of sticky notes or anything like that. There's a lot of good tools out there. And listen too, if that doesn't sound like something that you're interested in, all you gotta do is hop on your phone and Google, right? I struggle with being able to do this. I need help, right? And 9 times out of 10, you'll get very accurate articles and stuff like that. So take advantage of all the tools that are out there these days. There's just way too many tools, and they're so easily accessible. Compared to especially back when social media wasn't really a thing. You know what I'm saying? By the way, my mom is safe, and thank you for your advice. Yeah. And I didn't mean you in specific, Mel. I just always, when something is near that point of the conversation, I always make sure to take the time to point that out, because there are times where, there needs to be that emergency call. You know what I'm saying? You're making the education is key for everything. I hear the howling in my window is creepy. 16 miles an hour is just the start of it. Just. Now I hear Chris Netzel, drill instructor voice, tell me to go clean your house right now, Chris. Yeah, sir. Go clean your house right now.
I need to record that. And then I'll just play it to myself every now and again.
Yo, chat. I want a lot of these things are things that I've struggled with, and I know personally work firsthand, and that's the best advice I know how to give. But once again, Matt over here has got he's a book of knowledge, right? And then also we got Google, man, right? 100%. Find something that works, because if it ain't working, life just ain't as fun when you're not enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody likes to get bitched at. Nobody likes to argue, fuss, all that crap, right? Nobody enjoys that. Now, is it a part of life? Yes, it is. Is it a part of relationships? Yes, it is. And are you obligated, if you're committed in a relationship, to work through it? Yes, you are. At least in my opinion, right?
We can get quite inventive as well. It's and humor. We don't really kind of talk about humor much. There's some situations that you can actually kind of make light of and joke about, where you can kind of say, look, oh, it's me again. I've not done this, or I've not done that. How daft am I? Or, and it can actually be kind of a bit of a topic that actually sometimes brings yourself closer, because you can talk about it and communicate about it. And if you both get frustrated over a certain situation and things, that communication is so important, because if we kind of walk around not telling someone how we feel ourselves, they walk around with their own perception of, oh, he's not really bothered, he doesn't really care, he doesn't really know how frustrated I get. It really does break the ice and helps build that relationship, or helps keep that relationship intact. So but yeah, it can be quite fun being inventive as well, because you can, whether it's sticky notes or whether it's alarms going off or whatever, is lots of different ways to kind of find solutions to certain problems and situations.
Yeah, Chris Armstrong just said, I'll send you a rabbit foot for luck. Oh my God. So, baby mama, I'm pretty efficient at communication. I'm just saying. Is a rabbit foot meant for good luck, Chris? It used to be kind of a thing. Not for the rabbit. That's the damn truth. 100% of what he's saying. It was not for the rabbit, right? It was not for the rabbit, right? But it is. I guess, Chad, I haven't really heard anybody talking about a lucky rabbit foot lately. The last time I heard anything about that was a long time ago. You got to stop looking at the camera like that. Like what?
It's pretty lucky, really, isn't it? That it's not like an elephant's foot or something like that.
Oh God, could you imagine toting that thing around? Jesus Christ!
It's pretty. Yeah, in itself, it's pretty lucky that it's a lucky rabbit's foot and not something else. You've got like a lucky live lion, something like that. You have to kind of walk around with yourself behind.
A service dog lion, right? Could you imagine? What if you had to carry around a lion, a real lion, chat, a real one, like
Tyson did, didn't he? I think was it a tiger? Yeah.
And then you see like fucking Netzel come running up and mag dump it, and be like, "Get on the freaking ground right now, way, sir." Yeah,
I could understand it, really, isn't it? Because someone would come up to you and say, "Why is that your lucky tiger?" And you could say, "Well, I've never been mugged while I've had it with me." Or,
last person to try, got his face bit off. You know what I'm saying, right? Be like Florida people and their issues they have over there with narcotics and whatnot, eating people's faces off. Florida joke. Sorry if you guys are from Florida, my bad. Used to be a thing when I was a kid. It did. I do distinctly remember a lot of talk about that. There used to stores used to sell lucky rabbit feet. I bet nowadays that probably wouldn't be very socially acceptable. What do you guys think, man? What do you guys think, huh? That'd probably be a problem nowadays. The look. What look? When I said baby mama. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I guess, chat, you guys got anything else in closing here, right? What do you guys think about what was said? Do y'all find any of those tools useful, or do those sound like any good ideas? I can tell you, man, one big thing that I've taken, especially from Matt, right, is writing something down, and I don't use that on a lot of aspects that a lot of other people use it for. But one thing that I have noticed is having that documentation and something written down in front of your face can always bring you back to focus on what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Right.
I absolutely used to be awful at it. I never used to keep a diary, and I never used to write things down, and I never used to make lists and stuff. But it got to a point where kind of I had to get more organized because of getting more and more busier and things. And once I started doing it, it took a little bit of time to kind of get into that habit, but it really does help. And even especially a little checklist of, you know, things that you kind of want to achieve, you know, tomorrow, next week, where you can kind of just, it's so therapeutic just ticking them off and putting a line through them and saying, yep, I've achieved those things, I've got them done. You know, and then those little reminders as well, they really can help, especially on those notes that you can kind of stick around and kind of help yourself out that way as well.
I'm just curious. I'm wondering if my app is wrong. I'm looking something up right quick. I don't want to misquote here, right?
This sounds interesting.
Yeah. All right. So now I will say this, Chelsea. Yo, Miss Chelsea, I will say this. There is a tornado warning, right? Or a tornado watch, right? A tornado watch is in fact be prepared to shelter if necessary. I'm trying to see, and it does say the wind's going at 16 miles an hour on the Weather Channel, right? I thought maybe it was my app that was wrong. Now I will give you, it does say tornado watch, right? So that is kind of scary, at least for me, right? But the wind is blowing, gusting at 16, right? But listen, Chelsea, right? But tonight you're cleaning out your food closet. Yo, Bolden, what's up, dude? How you doing, bro? I'll call you and send you vibes, Chelsea. Yo, Gunner, with have an amazing weekend, everyone. Hashtag change the world. Most definitely tool from Matt will definitely work.
Yeah.
I also feel like no, listen. Am I missing something here? And he did look. Yo, you guys are wild. All right. Well, chat, listen, yo, it's another beautiful Friday, man. I really, really appreciate y'all being here. Okay. And for those of y'all that are rewatching this or watching this after it's live on YouTube, yo, if y'all found anything useful in this video, right? If y'all could just comment down below, man. If you find some of these skills, or if you know of any other good skills that work for you and tend to help you out getting through things, right? If you could just comment below and let us know, man, and try and help people out. Also, smash that like button, all right? Show it a little love, huh? Let's get it out there. Matt, was that kind of your in closing thing that you were talking about, or you got anything else in closing?
Yeah, no, not really. Just again, really, it's great to have sort of so many people here again on a Friday, and you know, sort of the conversations and the comments have been brilliant. And like what you said earlier as well, you know, we kind of choose topics, you know, just to make sure that we've got something to talk about, really. But chat always brings something extra and something special. And this whole thing is for those in chat. So, you know, we're a great community, a great family, as I see it, with some great people in here that are always always kind of ready to help each other. And that's kind of the main thing. It's a safe place to have a chat, talk about these things, and hopefully just kind of discuss some ideas and feelings and thoughts. So just another great, enjoyable Friday. So.
Absolutely. And Matt, dude, I appreciate everything you do.
Yeah,
for us
no,
here,
you
man.
too.
I really do.
Yeah.
It means the absolute world to me, bro.
I just wouldn't be anywhere else. I really wouldn't. It was, you know, we've kind of done this for the length of time that we have now. Almost coming up to 2 years November, isn't it? Definitely sometime during November. So we might have even been on kind of our anniversary sort of time, isn't it? So I can't, it's gone so quickly as well. It's just flown past.
Insane. Right.
Yeah.
Insane.
No, it is. Yeah, pretty much. I know we haven't missed many. There's perhaps been, you know, kind of less than a handful of weekends where we haven't been here. And you know, if it hasn't been a Friday, it's been a Sunday or something like that. So
right.
But yeah, no, the amount of topics we've spoken about, and we're still kind of going strong with lots of guests and ideas, so it's good.
Love it. Chat, listen, we love you guys, man, and just remember, you ain't ever alone. Ain't never alone. You always got a family of badasses here. All right. Yeah. And once again, if you guys find yourself in any bad way or anything like that, reach out, right? Suicide hotline, any kind of like mental health stuff. We've got a Discord, the ChrisNetzelGaming Discord, that has a whole mental health section in it with all sorts of resources from all different countries. Okay. So if you guys find yourself in a bad way, make sure you please reach out. All right. You ain't never alone. Ain't never alone. And yo, Matt, love the hell out of you, bro. I appreciate you. You chat. We love you guys, man. All right.
If there is anything, I've just seen a message from Votive there as well. If there is anything, please use that email. I'll try to kind of catch up and respond to people as well. So if we have missed anyone, please get in touch and we can kind of follow on those conversations afterwards as well. It's not a problem at all.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to type in the email address one more time up over here for my boy Votive here. Hey, Votive. So I'm putting the Change the World HD email address in the chat. All right. And me and Matt have access to that. All right.
Yeah.
So if you need anything, man, right there. Okay. Hey, buddy.
Because our clocks went back, I've actually got a spare hour as well now because we'd normally be talking at this time. So I'm around for like an hour or so as well. So if anyone does send any messages to there, I'll do my best to kind of reply to them now as well. So.
We'll have to start getting Matt to do TikTok streams after he gets done as like a wind down fucking recovery.
Well, we'll be back on midnight next week. But yeah, I haven't used TikTok for a little while actually. So I need to get back on that. So, yeah.
All right. Love you guys, man. Peace out.
Yep.
I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Have a good weekend. Speak to you soon.